So what we're doing right now is we're going to do the butterfly posture. Any questions? Any questions on the plow or the shoulder stand or the fish? Okay.
I was able to do only a few things, GS. The chakras, that all those things were very difficult. I don't think I can do it.
Yeah.
At least not in the near future. You know, it's too difficult for.
I think you don't need to do the chakrasana, but I think if you can practice the sarvangasana with how much ever you can lift, even if you can just lift it up. The more important thing is tuck your chin to the chest and then lift with your knees, you know, how much ever you can actually do, right? And then try to support yourself. Sarvangasana, and then try to do the plow, how much ever you can. And after you do the sarvangasana and the plow, then just do the fish. I think those three are good enough. And then the goal is, sorry, finish it.
That's it. I was saying, yeah, that sounds like a plan.
Srini, that part that you said we have to use our elbows to lift our body up for Sarvangasana, I didn't know to do that. Actually, I couldn't go much. I mean, I could just lift my legs up, but I really couldn't support I didn't know how to use my hands to support my body up there.
True. I think some of us, you know, perhaps you know, we haven't used our upper body enough, so we may not have upper body strength. That's why it's called Sarvangasana, shoulder stand. So eventually, when you practice it, we build more shoulder strength.
Yeah, it's flexibility the issue. Maybe with time it'll get there.
Yeah, I think it's less of a flexibility. This one is more of a strength building posture. But I think the fact is you're able to lift, you know, you are not able to hold it, right? I think the key thing is this is perhaps the first time when you're doing it, and eventually what happens is you will be able to rest more weight on your shoulders and the upper body, and then you'll be able to balance it. I think it's also the balancing. We get the hang of the balance. I think the key thing here is we have to try it several times to get the hang of it. Don't be discouraged by one attempt or two attempts or three attempts, right? We've all seen it. Whether you practice any new thing, any new skill, it takes, you know, regular practice. Which is even in the piano or whatever you play, you have to keep on trying it. So this is exactly the same thing. So, but I think my goal is if you can just do shoulder stand and plow. And the plow is also good for your digestion. And then just do the fish. I think those three are good enough. And then as you master it, then once your upper body becomes more stronger, then you can add, you know, wheel pose, the chakrasana, and then the reverse plank. Yeah.
Next time you do that, can you show us how you're using your hands to lift your body up? Like do it a little slowly, maybe.
Yeah, I think we can actually do it. So just doing the wheel is a step-by-step thing. The first step is this is almost like a bridge, right? You bring your heels closer to your body. Then your hands, what I'm doing is I'm actually using my hands by my shoulders. And then all my lift is coming from my legs and the hips. Hands are just guiding me. So I use lift.
I meant the Sarvangasana also. When you lifted both legs and then you used your hands.
Hands to guide me. Right? The hands become, I'm not lifting from my upper body. I'm actually lifting from lower with my legs. And then I'm using my hands to guide me and lift up.
Okay. No, I meant the Sarvangasana, Srini. When you lifted both legs and then you used your hands to keep it up there. That's the part I don't seem to know to use my hands to keep it up. Yeah.
So this, when I'm lifting.
Oh.
And these are just balancing here. Some people try to lift all the way up, but I'm actually using, so my elbows are resting my entire body. And then I'm using my fingers to keep it balanced. All on my shoulders and elbows.
Okay, I'll keep practicing. I'm not able to lift my body to that extent yet. Maybe slowly with time.
Exactly. I think you will practice. Any other questions from anyone? Okay, let's move to the remaining postures where now we opened up our chest and then we're going to move to our navel and other areas. So we'll start with butterfly. Bring your two heels, bring your 2 feet closer together, bring your 2 heels closer to your body. Keep your spine straight and then flap your wings. This is a very good posture to open up your hamstrings and the hips. Yeah. Use your fingers to grab your toes. Use your 2 fingers to grab your toes. And then suck your stomach in. Tuck your chin to the chest. And slowly roll over. And make sure that your elbows are pressing into your thighs. Make sure that your elbows are not lifting up. And then slowly coming up. Coming down to touch your forehead with the fingers. That is the butterfly posture. We move on to then.
Can we request everyone else to go on mute, please? Because the focus keeps shifting.
Yeah. Then let's move to Paschimottanasana. We'll do it on half Paschimottanasana and then we'll do the full Paschimottanasana. Bring your right leg to the right. Cross your left leg and make sure that your left foot is pressing into your right thigh. Flex your toes towards you. This is pointing, this is flexing. Keep your spine straight. Lift your 2 hands up and interlace your fingers and grab your right foot 2 inches below the toes. 2 inches below the toes, looking straight. And if you want, you can actually lift your right knee up, tuck your chin to the chest, and then try to grab your forehead to the right knee. You can lift as much as possible, but your forehead must touch the knee, and then your chin is stuck to the floor. Release. Now we'll do it on the other side. Now there is a little bit of sun coming up. We'll do it on the side. Make sure that there is a 90-degree angle. Your right foot is pressing into your left thigh. Flex your left toes. Interlace your fingers. Grab your left foot 2 inches below the toes. And then tuck your chin to the chest and roll forward. And your forehead must touch the left knee. You can lift it up as much as possible, or your forehead must touch the knee. Release. Now we'll do the full forward bend. Bring your 2 legs closer together. Flex your toes towards you. If you cannot grab your toes, we can also use the motion. We can use the motion to help with reaching to the toes. And for example, you can lie down on the back and then take a deep inhale. And while exhaling, keep your hands stretching while exhaling, do it forward. You can do it on the other side. So something like this. Flex your toes towards you. Stretch your hands up. Fingers squished. Fingers straight. Take a deep breath. So we are using the breath, the energy, and the momentum to go reach the toes. So let's do about 2 times. So what I'm doing is I'm inhaling and lying down, and then exhaling and reaching. So from here, grab your 2 toes with your fingers. Keep your spine straight, spine fully stretched. And then pull your toes towards you and looking straight. And then bring it down. Now that's the Paschimottanasana. Now we're going to work on a posture, which is the Supta Vajrasana, that strengthens our knees. So what we'll do is sit in Vajrasana. And this Vajrasana is, if you can observe, whenever I'm sitting in the Vajrasana, my spine is straight. So it doesn't put any pressure on my lower spine. So people with back pain, try to, as much as possible, try to sit in Vajrasana. The best way to sit in the Vajrasana is keep your knees together, heels, toes are touching together, but heels are slightly apart so that your entire hips are nicely rested between the space between the heels. This is a perfect Vajrasana space. So it's almost like, so now you see that there is no weight that is sinking into the lower spine. So this is a very good posture, keeping the spine straight. Now from here, what we'll do is we'll slowly separate our heels and try to rest our hips onto the ground. If you cannot keep your knees together, you can also open up your heels. This is called Supta Vajrasana. You can also separate your heels, but your hips must be nicely rested on the floor. Keep your spine straight. And once you have this, you can try to bring your knees together, but it's okay if they are separate. Then put your hands on your feet. And then bring one elbow down at a time. One elbow down at a time. But then once you are here, you can even do the fish pose, but slowly come down until your upper body rests on the floor. Upper body rests on the floor. And you're creating a nice bridge between your lower back and a middle spine that releases any tension in your lower back. This is Supta Vajrasana. And tuck your chin to the chest. If you're comfortable, you can also bring your elbows over your head. Now again, we reverse the way we went into the posture. Grab your feet with your hands, and then with one elbow lifting at a time, come up. Any questions on this posture? Supta Vajrasana?
Extremely tough.
Extremely tough?
Slow. Yeah, because I'm not able to go back that much.
You don't need to. If the posture is only till here, that's perfectly fine.
Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah. The thing is, what the yoga system does is like, when you compress your knees and then when you release, what happens is there is this oxygenated blood that rushes back to the constricted areas and cleaning up any damage that you have in the knees and other stuff, right? Now we'll move to the spine strengthening series, the 3 postures to strengthen our spine: lower back, upper back, middle back, and then do the Dhanurasana, and then we will do the final wrapping up procedures in the floor series. Let's start with bow pose. Sorry, let's start with cobra pose, which is the Bhujangasana. So in Bhujangasana, make sure that your two feet are touching together. Like you only have one leg, toes pointed, you only have one leg. And then bring your 2 hands by your shoulders. Your top of the fingers are touching the top of the shoulders. Bring your elbows closer to your body. Bring your elbows closer to your body. Chin nicely rest on the floor. Gently lift your knees. Still glue your legs together. And slowly, without using the hand strength, lift up. Glue your elbows together to the body. Try to bring your elbows down. And slowly come down. Now bring your left ear onto the mat. Look to the right. 2 big toes touching together. Heels fall apart. Shavasana. Now we'll move to the Shalavasana, locust pose. Glue your legs together. Roll side to side. Roll side to side to bring your 2 hands under your body, palms touching the mat. Palms are not touching the body, palms are touching the mat. This is also good for people that have carpal tunnel. Try to bring your elbows together. It will come over time, but try to keep your hands under your body. Keep your chin glued to the mat. Relax your left leg. Engage your right leg with toes pointed, no bent knee, and lift up. Release. Now we'll do it on the other side. This time relax your right leg. Lift your left leg up. Keep it fully engaged. Release. Now adjust your palms and again get into the position. Now this time glue your 2 legs together, toes pointed, no bent knees. Lift your both legs up. Release. Again, gently release your hands. Get into Shavasana. Right ear onto the mat. Look to the left. Again, when we do the final locust, it's not about the depth, but keeping your legs and toes engaged and lifting as much as you can. Now let's move to the middle spine with the aeroplane posture. Stretch your two hands like two aeroplane wings, fully engaged. Glue your legs together like you have one aeroplane here. Now I'm inhaling, lift up. Your legs and hands are lifted up, like you're taking off. Lift up, 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 and slowly come down. Yoga is about control, engaging all the parts of your body, your toes, your fingertips, your eye gaze. Left ear onto the mat, look to the right. Now we'll do the final spine strengthening series, which is the Dhanurasana. Grab your left leg 2 inches below the toes with your left hand. Grab your right foot with your right hand 2 inches below the toes. Keep your elbows straight, your hands and the legs form like the two wheels for your body. Look straight. Now slowly kick and let. If you want, you can also do a little bit rock and roll from here. And then gently release. Now Shavasana. Right here onto the mat, look to the left. Now slowly use your elbows. We'll do the chain posture, Balakumarasana, sitting Vajrasana. Make sure that your hips are nicely rested on your heels. Your hips never coming off the heels, always touching the heels. Stretch your two hands up. Elbows straight, arms glued together. Take a deep breath. And while exhaling, slowly come down. So your arms are glued to your ears, never coming up. Forehead touches the floor. Your hips are nicely rested on the heels. Your hands stretching forward. You're stretching the spine in opposite direction. Nice oxygenated blood is rushing to your brain, bringing clarity, removing any chatter. Take at least 3 deep breaths. If you're not comfortable, you can also relax like this. Now while inhaling, gently keeping your arms glued to the ears, lift up. Exhale. Now I'm going to gently introduce a two back bend and a forward bend before we do the half spine twist. That's the one is the camel, the other one is the rabbit. These are again work to strengthen your back. Only follow to some extent, or you can just observe. So stand on your knees. Keep your two hands, the two hands resting on your hips. And look towards the back. Push your hips forward. And then slowly, with the right hand grab your right heel. With your left hand grab your left heel. Lift up, push forward. This is the deepest back bend that we can do. It opens up your heart, opens up your neck, opens up your back, lower back. It's the deepest back bend that we can do. And then when you're coming back, bring your hands back to your hips. That's the camel. Did anybody try the camel? Okay.
1/4 camel.
1/4 camel. That's a good one. Actually, the whole thing is you don't have to go to the final posture. Just stay here. Keep your hands and try to push your hips forward. So what you're doing is when you in life, what happens is we are always slouching forward. That puts a lot of strain. And the best way to improve your spine health and fix the back pain is you always have to do more back bends. The best way to do the back bends is this. When you're doing the back bend, what it does is it creates more space, more traction in your lower vertebrae and releasing any pinching of the nerves that is causing the back pain. So, and in fact, there's a saying, right? You have to bend backwards, to gain something in life. In fact, even yoga is also that. It is like bending backwards is because we are always slouching forward and putting so much strain on the back. So we always have to emphasize more on the back bend so that release any tension that happens on the back bend. So if you can do something like this, then just push forward. In fact, whenever there is a back pain, your entire focus is to do a little bit of back bend, pushing your hips forward, and that releases the strain on the lower back. So if you can just do here, that's perfectly fine. And push your hips forward, and then grab like this. And then once you do the knee back bend, in the yoga, you have to balance it with the right forward bend. Again, sit in Vajrasana. Keep your spine straight, stomach tucked in. Grab your 2 feet. Tuck your chin to the chest. Now we'll curl the spine to get the deepest stretch on the spine outward, right? So like this, tuck your stomach in and slowly roll forward. Pull your heels with your hands, keep your elbows straight, and touch your forehead to the knee. Now we are creating the biggest arc on the spine. So what we've done is, we've done the deepest back bend, and we also done the deepest forward bend. That's also another good way to improve the spine health. Any questions? Now we'll do the final posture for today, which is the half spine twist, which is where we're going to rotate the spine twist. We've already did the spine twist once before. Can anybody say where we did the spine twist?
The warrior pose.
Exactly. So when we did the reverse triangles in the sun salutation flow, what we have done is we rotated and then we twisted the spine this way. So let's finish the sequence with half spine twist. Cross your left leg. Make sure that your left toes are pointed. Bring your right foot over your left knee. Keep your spine erect. Stretch your left hand up. And bring it over your right knee. And grab your left knee. Feel the right thigh pressing into your stomach area, stimulating your pancreas and other digestive organs, so that you have a healthy insulin production. Stretch your right hand up. Sorry. And then look to the right and twist. Once you master this, you can also bring your hands together. Release. Now we'll do it on the other side. Cross your right leg. Make sure the right toes are pointed. Bring your left foot over your right knee. Spine erect. Stretch your right hand up. Fingers squished. And then grab your right knee over your left knee. Feel the left thigh pressing into your stomach area. And then gently look to the left and twist, looking over your left shoulder. And release. Now that concludes all the postures in the sequence for today. And let's work on the final relaxation and the Kapalabhati posture. Are there any questions that anybody has on what we have covered so far? Did it get easier today compared to yesterday?
Yes.
Exactly. So this is exactly right. I think we're making good progress. So we'll start with Kapalabhati breathing. And the reason why I'm putting something as a the height to rest on this thing, so that it doesn't put any pressure on my lower spine. This is another technique. So people that have a back pain, make sure that you have some support on your hips, so that you're not sinking your spine into your lower back. The other way to do that is Vajrasana. Vajrasana is also keeps your spine straight. The other way is to keep something raising, so that you have nice support, so that you're not sinking all the way into the lower spine. So we're going to start with Kapalabhati belly breathing, and then we're going to do Ujjayi breath, where you're going to release all the air, and then we're going to engage the abdomen and stretch out like this. And then we're going to extend and then stretch, and we get into meditation. And I'm going to quickly introduce something about meditation in just a moment. What Patanjali said, the definition of meditation is Tatra Pratyaya Ekatanata Dhyanam. So that is the true definition of meditation. Pratyaya is the image in your mind. If your mind is like a TV, then there is always a bunch of images that come in. So what Patanjali defined the meditation as Tatra Pratyaya Ekatanata. That means the image in the mind, when it stays the same from one moment to the next moment, that is called the meditation state. Whenever, if you just observe the mind as a passive observer, what's going on, and just look at the picture, like at the TV of your mind, it has lots of thoughts going on. When you actually get the thought be the same, the frame of the image be the same from this moment to the next moment. That is called the state of meditation. And that image could be anything. But if you make that image be something that is more positive, like a divine or any positive image, then that becomes an uplifting kind of an experience. But it could be anything. If you want to meditate on Laddu, you can also do that. But just make sure that there is only Laddu stays from this moment to the next moment to the next moment, right? That's called Laddu meditation, perhaps. So, but that is how Patanjali defined that. So when we are trying to get into the meditation, let's just be an observer of the mind, and then get into that meditation state. And then there are a few other techniques, which is, mind is something like a very delicate instrument. If you try to suppress something, it actually blows it, into a bigger thing. Like, for example, in fact, when we talked about our Yoga Sutras, where Ahimsa, Satya, Asteya, Brahmacharya, and Aparigraha, some of the vows. If you want to, if the moment you get a thought of, let's say, if there is a thought of, you don't want to get in violence, or there is a violent thought. If you say it's like, no, if you put a lot more force on, I want to get rid of these violent thoughts, or I want to get rid of these negative thoughts, the mind actually, whatever you put your awareness on, it actually grows bigger in your mind. What Patanjali defined the one technique is vitarka badane pratipaksha bhavana. If you want to get rid of a thought, something like a negative thought, instead of trying to focus on, I want to get rid of it, what Patanjali did is focus on the opposite positive thought, which is like, instead of, hey, I don't want to be angry with somebody, instead of, it says like, why am I getting angry? Instead of beating yourself with that, it's like, hey, I want to show compassion, I want to show love towards somebody. So the more you're inviting love, that's what gets lodged in your brain. So those are some of the techniques. As you're getting into the meditation, the key focus is to fix your image on one thing and try to see if you can keep that image be the same. And to do that, we use the anchor of the breath. So that's the reason what I say is take a deep breath and fix your eye gaze onto the third eye. You can focus on any one point, and then try to keep one frame. And if there are other images that are coming in, don't try to fight them. The more you fight them, they will actually sit in your brain. So gently observe them, and then if there is an image that comes back in, and then try to fix back into an image that you like. So that is kind of a technique of the meditation, and we'll talk a little bit more about meditation. Any questions on the meditation technique? The first step to that is being mindfulness. We now have, there is an app called 10% Happier. If you have access to it, please use it. Where they call this as meditation, but actually whatever the meditations that everybody teaches, they're not actually meditation stuff. Meditation is actually a state of being. You don't actually get to do that. Meditation is when your mind's constant stays the same from one moment to the other. So all the efforts that you put in before that to get into meditation are mindfulness techniques, where you be a passive observer of the thoughts, and then you focus on concentration and so on and so forth. And then eventually there will be those few moments where if you observe the mind, it gets fixated on the same frame from one moment to the other, and that is the state of meditation. So we do a bunch of different techniques to prepare our mind to get to that state of meditation. Those could be 5 seconds, 10 seconds, and eventually they get longer and longer and longer. Right. Does it make sense? Or any other things that you guys learned about the meditation? Okay, let's do an experience, and then we'll go from there. Okay, close your eyes, or you can observe if you need to. And then let's do the Kapalbhati belly breathing. Ready, begin. then exhale completely. Suck your stomach in, engage your abdomen and lift up, Uddiyana Bandha. Inhale. Stretch your hands up. Rotate your fingers. Feel the stretch in your fingertips. Feel your entire lungs and chest fully expanded, filled with nice, clean, oxygenated air. Exhale. Inhale and get into meditation. Fix your eye gaze into the center of eyebrows. Exhale. Now we'll do one more time. This time we'll do the Kapalbhati with alternate nostril breathing. Anulom Vilomo. Ready, begin. We cover our two nostrils with the thumb and the ring finger. And we breathe in from one nostril, breathe out from the other, and then we reverse. Ready, begin. Exhale completely. Uddiyana Bandha. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Gently close your eyes, shift your attention to the third eye and get into meditation. Exhale. Now let's chant Om. We take a breath for Ah. Ah is the Brahma energy, the creative energy. Shift your attention to the navel area. When you say O, shift U, shift your attention to the center of the chest for our Vishnu energy, which is the protection and sustaining energy. And then when you say Ma, shift your attention to the head, which is the transformation energy, also known as Shiva. Take a deep breath for Ah. Take a deep breath for Now take a deep breath for Aum. Take a deep breath for Om. Keeping your eyes closed, feeling all the vibrations of Om. Lie down on Shavasana. Feet slightly apart. Hands by your side, 2 inches away from your body, palm facing up. Chin away from your chest. Eyes gently closed, eye gaze fixed in the third eye. Observe your breath in your nostrils. With every inhale, feel the belly rising. With every exhale, feel the belly shrinking. You gently scan the body from the lower body to the top for any uncomfortable sensation or any sensation. Gently breathe into it. Be aware of them. Don't resist them. Just be aware of them and breathe it. The feet, chin, abs, thigh, waist, stomach, lower back, chest, upper back, right hand, left hand, neck, face, right eye, left eye, forehead, back of the head, top of the head, from top of the head to the toes. Take a deep breath and exhale. Gently turn to the right. Eyes closed. Slowly sit up. Just follow with me the final chant. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayah Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhavavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We wish everybody to be happy. We wish everybody to be free of sorrow and disease. We wish everybody to see only auspicious things, and let there be peace everywhere. With these wonderful intentions that we do for all of us and the people around us and the Mother Nature, let's rub our palms, generate the fire and heat of knowledge. Cup your eyes, transmit this knowledge to open up our divine vision, divine sight, Divyam Dadati Chakshu. Now with a bright smile, feeling the love, gently at your own pace, open your eyes. Thank you all for sharing your yoga practice this morning with me. Any thoughts or comments? How did the session feel today versus yesterday?
It's a little bit more fluid today, but I think, Srini, we probably need a set of routines, poses, postures we need to practice, because I don't think, at least I'm not that flexible as you. So I think I need some basic beginner postures so that I can, feel more comfortable. But feels better than yesterday.
I think the most important thing, if I could recommend something, do practice Ujjayi breathing. Just focus on sun salutation, nothing else. Sun salutations, and then maybe end with a tree posture, and then do 1 or 2 flow postures like wind relieving posture, and then the spine strengthening, and then spine twist. I think that's the basic routine that one could do it. I think my recommendation is focus all your energies on just mastering sun salutation. I think that's a universal well-being sequence. All the things are designed, it works for your entire body. Sun salutations, synchronizing with your breath, and if you can do the sun moon where you stretch on the side, I think that's probably is all I would recommend. That's one recommendation. Any other thoughts or comments from others?
For me, it was a little harder today. I don't know if that's strange than yesterday. Maybe because there's some.
Because we probably added the sun salutation flow, perhaps, and it happens actually. I remember when I first went to Art of Living. I went through a bunch of schools, and I now integrated what I resonated from all the schools. I remember when I first went to Art of Living, this was 2007. I was excited about the first time, and then I did the pranayama, and then I went into the Sudarshan Kriya. The first Sudarshan Kriya experience, I still cannot forget it. Then I had this second day. I was like, first day was so great. How about the second day is going to be even more greater. And second day was actually very disappointment actually. But the thing is, every day we are in a different field. Our energy fields are slightly different, whether it's based on what we ate or the environment around us and the environment. So that is the being an awareness. The fact that, Priya, you have an awareness of how you're feeling every day. I think that's, as Raju said yesterday, I think you're a lot more getting in tune with how you're feeling every day so that you can actually calibrate. You can actually calibrate and then work on your other stuff. So what I'll have is I'll probably have my friend show up anytime, and he's gonna share some of his insights on his yoga journey and some insights that we could benefit from. But before
yes, I'm here. Sorry.
Here, okay. Let me just wrap up with one Yoga Sutra, and then I'll transition to you. So one of the Yoga Sutras, when we talked about yamas, ahimsa, satya, asteya, brahmacharya, parigraha. So one of the things that Patanjali warned all of us, that people who do not conform to these yamas principles, let's say violence, he basically said this is probably the longest sutra in all the 196. The sutra goes something like this: Vitarka himsadaya krutakaritaanumodita loba kroha purvaka mrudu madhyadi matra dukkananta phala iti pratipaksha bhavanam. I think this is probably the longest Yoga Sutra. What it means is people who do not use that right discriminative knowledge, with the right intelligence. The tarka is the right, vitarka is, the argumentative wrong knowledge, and participate in himsadaya or any principles of non-yama, vitarka himsadaya, krutakaritaanumodita, whether you are the direct perpetrator of the violence or any one of the non-yama principles, or you become the reason for doing that, or anumodita, if you just become a witness, like if there is unfairness that are happening to you, and if you just become a silent spectator, driven by lobha, krodha, moha, purvaka, driven by either greed or lust or anger, any one of the reasons. Usually those are the reasons. Mrudu madhyadi matra. Mrudu madhyadi is like this engagement. You could be the reason, whether it's in a gentle way, mrudu, madhya, medium intensity, or the high intensity. In whatever the level of intensity that you become the reason for non-yama engagement in life, whether it's violence or any one of them. Dukkhananta phala. The ultimate result in unlimited, unbounded sorrow for us and for the people that are close to us or people around us. Iti pratipaksha bhavana. That's what he warned us. So with that, yoga is the knowledge that actually helps us to overcome these with the Astavangani 8-limb practice. Patanjali revealed to us the method and the technique. So with that, let me introduce my best friend, Shailesh Basani. He's also one of my best friends, and I also regard him as my guru. He and I have been collaborating a lot. He has so much wisdom. And so with that, Shailesh, over to you.
Thank you, Sriniji. Again, very nice to be here. Thank you for the generous introduction. Can I see the folks actually, or they're all hiding behind the cameras, or what? So that at least I can.
Yeah, why don't we all open up if you're comfortable? Yeah.
If you're comfortable, I'm just going to talk for 5 to 6 minutes. Yeah. So, but whoever is comfortable to, turn the videos on, that will be nice to see you all. Yeah. Okay. So, again, people are turning the videos on. I'll just pause for a few seconds. Yeah. Okay. So, first up, again, namaste, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon. I'm very happy to be here, and very happy to see Sriniji run this workshop, right? A lot to learn from him. He has been obviously practicing yoga in intense sadhaka for many years now. And I'm very happy to be associated with Sriniji, and through him to be associated with all of you here, right? So,
It's like, it's so embarrassing to hear G. It's like, if you're saying Sriniji as Guru, then that works.
Yeah, so we go a long way back with classmates and all that. So I'm sure all those G's are little formal in that context for him. But anyway, so I know Srini asked me to talk about a couple of things about yoga and mind and things like that. I can go on to those, but does anybody have any specific questions on that I can see if I can answer if I'm able to, or I can just talk about a couple of concepts he asked me to talk about. So if anybody has any questions on this Yoga Sutras or Yoga and Mind or anything like that, I can also take that up, or I can take it after I talk about a couple of concepts.
This is Priya. I don't know if this is even a valid question, but I think general problem with me is that I always have the intent and I am enthusiastic, but I find it hard to keep at things, especially if it gets difficult. I think I struggle to find the motivation to continue to do it. But being in a group helps, but I'm talking about individually practicing it. But of course, you can't do daily practice in a group all the time. It's hard to find.
Yeah. Sure, that's a very good question. I'll talk about it. Yeah, from my viewpoint, of course, others and Srini also can share. Yeah. So let me just share a couple of things. Again, my background, I've been yoga practitioner for like 30-40 years now. I learned from my dad at a young age. Became a yoga teacher more than 15 years back. I've been teaching hundreds of classes in the Bay Area and beyond for a while now. My close friends Srini and Raju, all of us, have been kind of talking about and doing yoga for some time now, kind of together. So a couple of concepts you wanted to talk about today is when we talk about yoga, a lot of us think yoga equal to yoga asanas, right? Especially the Western world and even in India, right? Pretty much yoga, have you done yoga, right? That's what the question is, and that means like I've done asanas, right? Definitely asanas is a very, very integral part of it, and it's very, very important throughout our journey, right? But when we look at Srini, I'm very happy to see talking about Patanjali Yoga Sutras. Very, very few classes talk about it. Very, very few teachers talk about it because a lot of them jump into this Surya Namaskara and asanas and relaxation. You're done with that, right? But talking about Yoga Sutras, very, very profound, right? Because there is a systematic method, very logical, right? Systematic step to go towards this spiritual enlightenment. And there Patanjali talks about asanas in a very limited fashion, right? Of the 195 Yoga Sutras that are there, he talks about Yoga Sutras only in 3 sutras, right? He doesn't delve too deep into it, right? Because the main intent of asanas is basically how can the body cooperate in your journey, right? So that it doesn't affect you when you sit for pranayama for half an hour. When you sit for meditation for half an hour, does your back hurt? Do you feel an itch somewhere where you cannot even reach? All those things happen when you sit for meditation for half an hour, right? So a body should cooperate. So asanas is a method to heal the body. It's a healing, right? When that healing occurs, it doesn't become interruption in your journey, right? So that's why Patanjali just talks about how an asana should be and what levels it should take you, right? And a lot of our scriptures talk a lot about yoga and mind, right? They relate yoga to mind. For example, when Patanjali's Yoga Sutras starts with some of these sutras, the second sutra is Yogaha Chitta Vritti Nirodha. Right? I'm sure Sriniji talked about it yesterday and today about it at depth, right? I don't want to go deeper into it again. But the idea basically what Patanjali is saying there is yoga is a process. It's a process of mastery of your mind. Okay? It's basically removing disturbances in your mind, removing fluctuations in your mind, so that when you're progressing forward in your journey, because Patanjali gives a systematic process of 8 steps in Abhyasa, right? They call Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi. 8 steps are there, starting with the interaction with the world, doing your asanas, doing your meditation, doing your breathing meditation, and then going towards deeper state of absorption. He gives a systematic process there. So it's a process on how you can master your mind, right? Without that, it's always going to be you go forward, you lack motivation, you go back, right? Challenges occur. That's what I think Priyaji asked a question about motivation, right? So we have good goals we set forward and a systematic method that these gurus give us, then it helps us in the journey, right? And I can take an analogy. If we all know, if you take Bhagavad Gita, right? You have this picture of Lord Krishna and Arjuna in the chariot, right? And you have these 5 horses that taking you forward in the chariot, right? So if you think of that image, the 5 horses can be thought of your 5 senses. Okay, hearing, touch, vision, taste, and smell. 5 senses, right? And then the reins can be thought of you as your mind, manaha, right? And then it's you, the charioteer, sitting you beyond senses and mind. It's somebody's you, right? So what happens here is that if the senses or the horses are going each of them in their direction, right? Then imagine what happens. The rein starts getting torn, right? And then you are gonna go to a destination that you didn't intend, right? Horses will take you wherever, right? And so on. But if you develop the mastery of the mind, where the reins are in the control of the horses and senses, then you'll go towards a destination that you're actually looking forward to, right? You are in control, and then when your mind is under control, right? So basically, think about the process of how you systematically train your mind through asana, pranayama, and meditation, so that you can go towards a destination that you are seeking, right? So that's one aspect of it. Because definitely when we're saying chitta vritti nirodha, we are not saying mind should be fully still, you should stop thinking. It's not possible, right? The dharma of the mind is to start, it's to think, right? Is to do activities, right? But basically, can we go to that stillness? If you think of a beautiful lake with no ripples, can we go to a state where there are no ripples and then be in the peaceful state, right? But at times ripples come, thoughts come, you take care of them and come back to the peaceful state, right? So that's what, again, I'm summarizing it in like 2 minutes, which we can take like few hours to talk about, right? That one Yoga Sutra, right? So, but just to remember that it's a process which Patanjali gives through Ashtanga Yoga, right? The second aspect I wanted to quickly touch about in the mind aspect is basically what Yoga Vasishtha talks about. Yoga Vasishtha talks to Rama about aspects of yoga. When Rama is very despondent and wants to kind of not continue with the go towards seclusion, Vasishtha talks about yoga aspects to him and brings him back to normal livelihood and marries Sita and so on. There he gives the topic to Rama, saying that manah prashamana upayaha yoga. Manah prashamana upayaha. Right? Basically, manaha again mind. Prashamana is a very beautiful word. Prashamana basically means to, if you think of fire, how you extinguish fire. If there's a fire somewhere, how you extinguish it, right? So prashamana means like extinguish it, to get rid of. Upaya is technique, skill, right? So basically here what we're saying is yoga is a skill to silence the mind. Right? So it's a technique. Right? So basically think about it, right? We can practice so regularly, but the thing is there are days when we have a very bad day, very disturbed day, right? Yoga gives us so many tools in our toolkit that one day, like as Srini talked about, just do Surya Namaskara, just do some breathing practice, you become calm that day, right? So it can be tool even for ephemeral purposes that day to feel better, right? As opposed to think about spiritual enlightenment that can be years away, right? So think about a technique or a tool to calm your mind, right? So that is another way to look at it. So it's a process as Patanjali talks about. It's a skill to silence the mind also, right? And the third aspect is what I'm going to talk about is from Bhagavad Gita, where Lord Krishna talks about yoga in many places, right? As all of you know, the 18 chapters in Bhagavad Gita, each of them is named yoga, right? Sankhya Yoga, Arjuna Vishada Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Raja Yoga. 18 chapters are all about yoga, right? So here in one of the, Lord Krishna actually defines yoga 30 to 40 different places in Bhagavad Gita. And one of the places he talks about is where we perform actions, karma yoga. He brings about the concept called nishkama karma, right? Basically, he talks about how to do the action without getting attached to the results, right? When he talks about that, he gives a definition of yoga as samatvam yoga uchyate, right? So basically, he's talking yoga is an inner state of mind where you have that equanimity within us. Samatva is equanimity within us. So samatvam yoga uchyate. So he talks about basically when you do karma yoga, volunteering work and stuff that can bring you so much deep inner peace within you. And the results can be successful or failures. Siddhya Siddhyor, that's what talks about. It can be successful or failure, but your state of mind, your state of intelligence is so stable that you have that inner equanimity, that you're not perturbed, not disturbed. Right? So basically, I just want to give those three thoughts at a very high level, that yoga is not just about asanas. Asanas is a means in the process to have a body that is helpful, body that is healed, but it's a process to gain that stability of the mind, to chitta vritti nirodha. It's a skill to silence the mind, as Yoga Vasishtha talks about, through tips and techniques that we can establish and employ each day. And also it's a finally a state of your mind, samatva, that state of your mind, and intelligence, that way you're not perturbed when things happen, sukha dukkha happen, you can take them in a solid way, right? So those are a couple of things I just wanted to talk about, right? And then I'll come to the question Priya you were asking about also, about how to be motivated, right? See, motivation basically, definitely, like we talked about, if there is a group of people like this, like for example, this workshop is a beautiful place, you're motivated to come, right? So if you're able to find this group like this, whether it's through Zoom or any other classes, once things open up, that's perfect way to do it, right? The other thing is, the simplest thing, the way I take a look at it is, the dharma for all of us is, am I able to get up each and every day and go do things that are my responsibilities, right? Whether I'm a employee, mother, father, brother, sister, anybody, am I able to get up each and every day, go do the jobs I need to do, right? And if yoga helps me to do that, that's a daily goal for me. If I'm doing Surya Namaskara, some asanas and relaxation, that's keeping me active that day, that itself motivates me to go forward, right? And the next step forward is, when I take a look at yoga, again, when I did teacher training also many years back, one of the first things is basically to improve our own sadhana more than anything else. Our own sadhana, if we can improve that, that way we are healthy to take care of anything we need to do. The second aspect is that once we get to a stage, can we build a community and share some of these things, right? Like I talked about many years back, Srini was in a place where he was talking to me about some of these things, and he became a teacher. Now I'm very happy to that he's coming and talking to all of you, right? So that also motivates you to actually improve your sadhana, to go share some of the things that you're able to, you're learning, right? And then again, finally, at some point of time, in some phase of your life, you might want to switch from what you're doing today and go to something else where you're able to serve the bigger community, and that can be motivating you. So depending upon your goals, depending upon your passions, it can take you forward. But again, begin where you are, adapt accordingly, and take it forward is what I would say.
So wonderful, Shailesh. I mean, what a beautiful insight, right? Like the way Shailesh captured the essence of all the knowledge. And yoga is a process, is a skill and a technique, but it's also the state of being. That's a beautiful thing, right? Yoga is the journey, yoga is the outcome, and yoga is the techniques. I think that's a beautiful thing. And like what Shailesh said is yoga is a state of being. But at any point in time, when we get into a state of unhappiness, because we wear this costume, right? The body and the mind, we get into situations that are not conducive to us. At that time, we can rely on yoga. It could be as simple as just rely on your breath, ujjayi breath, or just get into mindfulness, or even engaging an act of love, following the yamas and where we are being helpful, then it brings a sense of harmony. And then from there, we can actually engage. But the last thing that samatvam uchate, like what Shailesh said, I mean, this resonates so much for me. And in fact, there's also another thing that even says, yogastha kuru karmani. Whenever we are engaging in any world activity while taking care of our job or taking care of the dharma that Shailesh talked about, we first need to be in a harmonious state. First, establish ourselves in a harmony, then you engage. If you're already in a disturbed mind and then you engage in some other activities, the result is going to be painful. So we all owe this to ourselves, to keep our body and mind in a beautiful place so that we can be the best in whatever the action that we do. Imagine the other way around. If you don't invest in ourselves, and if you're not in a good place with our body or the mind, every action that is going to result, number one, it's going to result in more work that we need to do. It results in not giving the best attention towards our job or to our loved ones. It causes more residue, unnecessary residue. So yoga is the one, yogastha kuru karmani. In fact, establish ourselves in the yoga with the process and the skills that we covered during the camp, and as Shailesh beautifully mentioned, this is the best investment that we can do for ourselves, and then we can engage in all the worldly activities. And that there is no other better motivation. This is the that we can do for ourselves so that we can be the best in everything else that we do. With Shailesh is always, we both had lots of, school memories, and we did all this stuff, but somehow we both ended up in this path of the journey of yoga, and he has been far ahead. But then I remember I was learning all these baby steps from Shailesh and this, and then Shailesh and so many people inspired me, and then now I made this as my own journey. And I can easily see someday I'll take a class from either Priyaji or somebody where you guys are teaching yoga, and then I'll be joining, right? Like Lataji or Vindaji or Vinit Prabhu and others, right? So with that wonderful thing, I think we've exceeded our time for today. But thank you again for giving your 3 hours for our wonderful session today, and then tomorrow I'll have Sriram Sarvottam Ji, and he's going to share some of the beautiful insights. And both Shailesh and I, we regard Sriram as, probably the most noble souls. And he's been practicing yoga since the age of 12. And I'm very much looking forward to tomorrow's session to hear what Sriram Ji also said. So we are so fortunate, and please follow Shailesh. He's also a certified yoga teacher on Yoga Bharati. It's a school, and he's been conducting a lot of classes. So please follow Shailesh, and tomorrow is Sriram. And then I hope all of you take to the practice of yoga regularly. With that,
Srini, what time tomorrow, Srini?
Tomorrow is 7 p.m. Central. That's a 5 p.m. Pacific, and we'll do about 1.5 to 2 hours. It's going to be a compressed session tomorrow, so where we're just going to focus on the regular routine and some nuggets, and then we'll have Sriramji spend some time with us. And then we'll also do the same on Tuesday, and then we're going to wrap up.
Okay.
Wonderful. Have a great Shailesh, once again.
Thank you. Namaste, everybody. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thanks very much, both of you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.